For us, we just started giving to the cause, really, even before it was a church, going from the house for 2 or 3 weeks, and then onto the school, and then to Think Big. And that was really the first time we had ever given really sacrificially.
When we started Think Big, you looked around, and while it was a lot bigger than when we were in the house, there wasn't a lot of people. And Brandon threw out a vision or a challenge to us that said $1 million. And we don't know what $1 million looks like. That was scary, to say the least.
So halfway through launch, there was sort of a halfway point rally. Brandon and the staff had really encouraged everybody to bring a big gift halfway through to kind of propel the journey forward.
And I remember thinking, I'm gonna lay this on her, because she's gonna be just overwhelmed with how spiritual I've been and what God's given me, right? So I laid it on her, right? I just said, here it is.
I remember that first time we committed to that. We were giving in tears, because that was sacrifices we were making. I had my motorcycle.
Jason sold his Harley.
I had a Harley.
It was
and
it was emotional.
It was hard. Yeah, that's why I was crying really bad.
Dave and I both really felt like God had given us a number, except I was really terrified of the number. And Dave said, okay, on the count of 3, let's both say our number. And I didn't want to at all, because I was so afraid of the number. And so I remember completely turning my head and looking straight out the window. And on the count of 3, we both said our number, and it was the exact same number.
And all she said was, that's the exact same number that God gave me. It was the exact same number.
And God just said, when we sold it, He said, you got to use this for, and we had already made a commitment bigger than what we could afford anyways. And so just because that's the number God told us, and He made it happen.
To commit that much to one thing and to see it come to fruition, and just not just to bless our family, which it did, but to see all the lives change and what it did.
I think when you embark on a sacrificial journey, it changes you and it stretches you.
And so as we have sought out and prayed about what God wanted us to do in this journey, I expected Him to hit me with a number.
And it is such like a journey, like praying about the amount and then committing the amount, sometimes in tears, and then watching God show you how He's going to bring that amount to His house.
Instead, He's given me something that hurts really bad. Saturday, when I told Rachel what it was, after about 3 weeks of wrestling with it, I could hardly get it out.
He just does it. We committed so much more than we ever thought possible, and He did it, and we didn't do that.
I think a lot of people anticipated launch being the journey that would get us to a new location or a new building, and I think there's a lot of people excited to open the doors on a new building.
It's gonna multiply no matter the value of it, because it's our heart and it's what we want to sacrifice for the future and to impact so many people.
As we look to establish a permanent footprint, I need to take something that's very permanent, or I thought was very permanent in my life, and I need to give it back to Him, because it's not mine.
It's from your heart, because it's that little bit that you say, well, that's mine, but it's really not. It's all from God.